The Story of Jane Goodall by Rebecca Felix. Who is she? Chimp expert. Jane Goodall is a primatologist. She has discovered more about primates than anyone in the world. Goodall lived among these animals in the wild for years. She works to teach people about protecting them and their habitat. Young Jane. Valerie Jane Morris Goodall was born in London, England in 1934. She began going by Jane as a teen. Jane loved animals from a young age. She gathered worms. She studied chickens in her family's henhouse. She even started her own nature club. Jane's father gave her a toy chimpanzee. Jane has kept the toy all her life. Early interests. Young Jane loved to read. She often read books about animals in Africa. After graduating from high school, Jane had several jobs. She was a secretary and a waitress. She also worked at a film company. Jane dreamed of traveling to Africa. Jane began riding horses when she was about 11 years old. Africa. In 1957, Goodall took her first trip to Africa. There she met archaeologist Louis Leakey. Leakey made Goodall his assistant. He spoke to her about chimpanzees. There was little research on these animals. Goodall decided to study them. Goodall had no research experience, and many people doubted her abilities, but Leakey believed in her. Setting up camp. In 1960, Goodall set her plan in motion. She went to Gombe Stream National Park. It is in Tanzania, Africa. Goodall set up camp on a mountainside. She would study a group of nearby chimps in their habitat. Gombe is the smallest park in Tanzania, but more than 100 chimpanzees live there. Living with wild chimps. At first, the chimps avoided Goodall, but she went into the forest each day. She studied the chimps carefully. Goodall also copied their behaviors. Soon the chimps accepted her. Goodall fed them. She cleaned their fur. She even held the baby chimpanzees. Goodall still takes careful notes while studying chimps. Incredible discoveries. Goodall learned a lot about chimps. At the time, people thought chimps ate only plants, but Goodall saw them hunt and eat meat. She also saw them make and use tools. This shocked scientists. Chimps use sticks as tools to gather and eat ants. Family and fame. In 1963, National Geographic decided to report on Goodall's work. They sent a photographer to Gombe. His name was Hugo van Lawick. He and Goodall got married the next year. Around this time, Goodall wrote an article about Gombe's chimps. She became famous. Goodall and van Lawick had a son, Hugo. Legend and teacher. In 1977, Goodall founded the Jane Goodall Institute. It teaches people about protecting nature. Goodall also started several programs. One is Roots and Shoots. It teaches young people to study nature. Goodall has inspired generations of people to protect chimps and other wildlife. Another great thing about Jane Goodall that you can experience is her connection with Disney's Animal Kingdom at Walt Disney World. Did you happen to see Disney Nature's wonderful film Chimpanzee? If so, you learned about the Jane Goodall Institute's collaboration with the Disney Conservation Fund. But did you know that her institute has worked closely with the Disney Conservation Fund to protect the amazing world of chimpanzees for over 2 decades now? In fact, the Goodall Institute and the Disney Conservation Fund have been working together since 1996. Both organizations are dedicated to bettering our planet, with a special emphasis on nurturing the next generation and turning them into conservation superstars. As part of that mission, for the past 2 decades, the Disney Conservation Fund has worked closely with the Goodall Institute to help make an even bigger impact on the ground in chimpanzee range countries, right here in the U.S., and with the Jane Goodall Institutes around the world. In 2016, the Goodall Institute joined the Disney Conservation Fund in celebrating 20 years of making our world a healthier, greener, and safer place. Together with the Disney Conservation Fund, the Goodall Institute has protected critical habitat for chimpanzees and other great apes, helped develop a special rehabilitation program for endangered mandrills, supported efforts to empower young people and educators around the world who are dedicating their lives to helping our planet, and so much more. Join the Jane Goodall Institute in celebrating all the good work that the Disney Conservation Fund has helped to achieve, and read more about the fantastic Jane Goodall Institute projects that it has made possible by visiting the Goodall Institute's website at janegoodall.org.